say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid? They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay.
Like, okay.
Oh, someone's excited. Okay.
Biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society. It's
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay, you're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
You said playing.
Okay, I said a boy who thinks he's a girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here. As far as the actual psychological issues at play, it used to be called gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Now they call it gender dysphoria. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted.
Wow, that was pretty clear. That was pretty damn clear. I mean, he's pretty much saying that, I'm not. Simply because you believe one thing does not mean that I'm going to pretend that you are that thing that you believe you are. If it goes against biology. So it's going to take a little bit more for me to be able to acknowledge you as what you say that you are now. So, okay, I'm following along. I'll give y'all my thoughts more later on in the show. I'm going to try to play it forward.
Of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted because they don't really fit in either place? They can't just
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written, though?
In the name Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Where's that written that you gotta be a boy in order to be a Boy Scout? He said in the name Boy Scouts, because it's Boy Scouts. Wow. Okay. All right. This dude is extremely literal. But okay, the young lady is trying to go at him. I'm listening. And honestly, I'm hoping that she makes some good points against Ben Shapiro. Why? Because Ben Shapiro presents his points so direct sometimes that he comes off as an asshole. And I just want somebody to shut his ass up sometimes, but nobody can seem to do it. So yeah, maybe I'm going to have to learn a whole lot about something opposite of what he believed just so I can debate him. No, I'm not, because I don't know. I don't have that desire. I want to actually get to know how he thinks and see if I can fully understand his side and the other sides as well. Okay.
Boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written, though?
In the name Boy Scouts.
That was good. That was actually really good.
Because this is a very because for all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. Boy did not mean girl.
People are very much into this culture.
And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms. No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
You can't just say you're a cat. It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're.
Okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably a bit naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60?
She confused as hell. Like, why would I be 60? Why would I be 60? Why would you even bring that up? We're talking about something completely different right now. Why would you ask me that? I'm trying to focus on what we're talking about. He was like, no, I'm setting you up right now. We're playing chess, and you don't realize it. You're over there playing Monopoly. I'm playing chess. So he about to really trip you up, and I can see it coming a mile away.
Why aren't you 60? And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's kind of the same as is gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously, you can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically. You could do lots of things in the past that were incorrect biologically and correct legally. For a long period of time in the United States, sterilization of the mentally ill took place. That didn't make it okay. Skinner versus Oklahoma. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote the decision.
Slavery. Slavery. God damn it. It was in the law. You're fine. As a matter of fact, it's in the Bible. It's literally in the Bible. Sheesh. Does not make it right, but it's actually in the Bible. I wish I knew the scripture. I would give it to you if I remembered it, but it's actually in the Bible.
Ill took place. That didn't make it okay. Skinner
Didn't
versus
make it
Oklahoma.
okay.
Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote the decision.
Sheesh.
Right. I still don't understand why these children that have gender.
It's not a matter of open-minded and accepting. I want them to get treatment that they see fit, but that's not involving me. The idea behind the transgender movement as a civil rights movement is the idea that all of their problems would just go away if I would pretend that they were the sex to which they claim.
Okay, and first of all, Ben Shapiro, what do you mean they should seek treatment? Because you're making it seem like it's a sickness, it's an illness for people to have these feelings and these thoughts. Whereas, it might not be a great deal of them who feel this way that actually are this way, because I don't want to piss anybody off, but a lot of stuff that have been crossing our path with regard to how people are changing this and changing that, or feeling this way and feeling that way, are fads. They are, and a few of them. But there are a bunch of people who are feel like this is who I am. You can't tell me anything else. I dream this way. I move this way. I talk this way. I think this way. I am this way. So there is no treatment, no shock treatment, no therapy, no medicine that's going to change them into feeling something that you want them to believe that they are, simply because it's not biologically correct. So sometimes we can't be that adamant about, if it's not biology, then it's not, and they can seek treatment. I want them to seek treatment. That just does not sound right to me.
That all of their problems would just go away if I would pretend that they were the sex to which they claim membership. That's nonsense. The transgender suicide rate is 40%. It is 40%. And according to the Anderson School at UCLA, it makes no difference. There's a study that came out last year. It makes no difference, virtually no difference, statistically speaking, as to whether people recognize you as a transgender person or not, which suggests there's a very high comorbidity between transgenderism, whatever that mental state may be, and suicidality. That has nothing to do with how society treats you.
Do you think it could be because of they're bullied at school?
No, I don't think that. I do not think that the discrepancy. First of all, I'm against bullying of any sort. Okay, the idea that somebody would beat somebody up is terrible. Okay, as somebody who's viciously bullied in high school, I'm not a fan of bullying.
I knew your ass was bullied. You seem like you was bullied all your damn life. You seem like you're still bullied, and you have some people that piss off because you're armed with knowledge, you're armed with a bit of power, you're armed with finances, and you have a great deal of people on your side that make you feel like, well, now I can bully y'all, and that's the part right there. It's like, I know that Ben Shapiro is absolutely intelligent as hell. I get it. But sometimes he comes off as that whole, if you look up hurt people in the dictionary, you will see a picture of Ben Shapiro, in my opinion. So I know that these things don't add up to you, Ben, but at the end of the day, some people actually, in the depths of their soul, feel like they are what they are, and yeah, people are being bullied for it. But with the information he just now gave out, he said, man, it doesn't matter if they've been bullied or not. He said that they're still committing suicide. So the issue is much deeper than people negative remarks, comments, or what they do to them that's causing them to take their lives. So he's saying that part right there needs to be treated and fixed. God damn. So Ben Shapiro he made a damn point. Not just now. Okay. Ah, shit. Because that statistic right there just reminds me that they do have something much deeper that they need to have squared away, because if it's not because of the actions of other people and they're still taking their lives, sheesh, okay, maybe I should just shut the hell up and just listen to the rest of this. All right.
Somebody would beat somebody up is terrible, okay? As somebody who's viciously bullied in high school, I'm not a fan of bullying.
You seem like you was bullied.
But the idea that the normal suicide rate across the United States is 4%. The suicide rate in the transgender community is 40%. The idea that 36% more transgender people are committing suicide because people are mean to them is ridiculous. It's not true, and it's not backed by any science that anyone can cite. It is pure conjecture. In fact, it's not even true that bullying causes suicide, according to a lot of studies. For example, in the black community, where the idea is supposedly that America is a racist society, blacks are bullied a lot. Okay, in the black...
Apparently, America's a racist society and people are bullied a lot. God damn it, bro. You don't just do that. You don't just try to brush stuff off as if it's not. Don't brush stuff off as if it's not. Like, come on now, don't do that. But he's about to make a point, so let me shut the hell up.
Where the idea is supposedly that America is a racist society, blacks are bullied a lot. Okay, in the black community has significantly lower suicide rates than in the white community. In fact, in third world countries, the suicide rate is significantly lower than in first world countries. Suicide actually seems to be a privilege of the upper classes, if you actually look at it from a financial perspective.
When black people were being... And you probably think this is bullshit, but I'm going to say it anyway because I need for y'all to hear this when I say it. The black community, or not the black community, but black people, the black culture, ever since slavery, when it was against the law for us to read, and we would hide, and some people would teach us how to read. They would just sneak and teach themselves how to read. Then they'll start to teach everybody else what they were reading. And 9 times out of 10, what they were learning to read were scripture from the Bible. So now a lot of black people are extremely religious. Christian, Baptist, Southern Baptist, whenever you go to a certain black community, trust me when I tell you, extremely religious. Well, suicide is a sin in our eyes. So a lot of people, not in our eyes, but in the Bible. So, and we firmly believe that. Doesn't mean that it does not still happen, but that right there stops us from going that far. Now, you might say, okay, prove it. I can't fucking prove it, but I can tell you that based off of what I've been taught and what I've actually witnessed myself as a minister inside of a church for a long time, minister of music. I've preached a couple of times as well, studied the Bible and all those things. But at the end of the day, a lot of our people, black people, people who look like me, don't believe we went through much harder things. We went through slavery, so we can go through whatever we're dealing with right now. We went through living in the projects. A project being, if you look at any type of school curriculum, we all know what project mean. It means something that it's almost like is a setup from the beginning. Now I know it's negative for us to feel that way, but it's how we think. And until we get over that thought process, like some people break free of that thought process and move forward. Some people are still stuck there. But suicide almost is never an option, although it does happen. People try to commit suicide and then they thank you like hell when you snap them up out of it, break them or save them. Because it's like, what the hell was I doing? So I know I'm just rambling, and I don't know a whole lot about this subject. I'm just giving you basic knowledge, basic information of from my purview.
Suicide actually seems to be a privilege of the upper classes, if you actually look at it from a financial perspective. So the idea that suicidality is...
So only rich people are killing themselves? Okay, let me shut up.
If you actually look at it from a financial perspective. So the idea that suicidality is directly a result of people like me saying, no, men are not women and women are not men, it's not true. It's also...
So you think it doesn't impact their identity at all, or their depression, or how they feel about themselves?
I think the idea that you're going to sacrifice the entire society's proper definition of sex because you think that there is in legal terms, somebody with an eggshell skull, meaning that somebody who has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to criticism, that is not a way to run a society. You can't sacrifice truth because some people are going to actually suffer because of the truth. Plus, there's no evidence whatsoever that the suicide rate would go down in the transgender community in any marked way if people just started pretending that men were women and women were men. That's
some real shit. And I also want to point out, too, he's actually taking it light on her. He's like, it seems like he's taking it really, really light on her. Like he really appreciates this back and forth with her, and he understands. He's acknowledging her age. He's acknowledging her passion for the subject, and he's not in bully mode. I've seen him in bully mode. This is not him in bully mode. This is him in, I understand what you're saying, but I'm still going to give you the information based off of my studies and what other people have studied. It's going to be hard for her to eat it, but he's taking it very light on her.
We're trying that experiment now. We'll find out whether it works. So far, no evidence.
Have you talked to a group of trans people at all instead of this group of like white people?
I'm more than happy to talk to a group of any people who will have me, but usually they protest me.
Okay, last question about your Planned Parenthood thing. So why do you think it's not about controlling women's bodies and just about the separate life? Like after the baby is born, how come when people don't care about them? They don't care where they end up in foster care. They don't care about the mother being poor. Like,
okay, I do care about the mother being poor. I do care about foster care.
Okay, but why don't you advocate for that though? Because
for
Planned
what?
Parenthood is supposed to prevent abortions.
Because Planned Parenthood doesn't prevent abortions. They perform hundreds of thousands of abortions a year. They perform 300,000 abortions a year. They're the leading abortion mill in the United States.
Evidence for that though.
That is some real sugar honey iced tea. What he's saying is absolutely real. Now I know they get paid to provide certain things and do certain services to try to teach people how to do things properly. And if you mess up and get pregnant when you were supposed to, and you get whatever passes in order for them to do what they need to do to help you out, then they'll do it. But the amount of people that they are performing these services for, it completely crosses over the whole thing that they prevent anything. They are very active in causing these. They perform the abortion. So you know what I mean. So they're not preventing a damn thing.
They perform 300,000 abortions a year from Planned Parenthood. That's my evidence. They don't dispute that. No one
That's on the
disputes
books.
Like birth control and cancer.
I'm not anti-birth control.
I know.
Birth control is extraordinarily cheap.
That provides affordable birth control, which would in turn.
Okay, they're not the only people in America who provide affordable birth control. You can go get a pack of condoms down at the local CVS for $12.
That's affordable.
Condoms break, people need medication too.
Yes, and it's true that most forms of birth control are also extraordinarily cheap on an annualized basis. Unless you have a severe problem, most birth control is very cheap and readily available. And I'm not against people going and getting that from Planned Parenthood.
He's actually been nice to her.
I'm mostly against abortion. If you want to go to Planned Parenthood and get a contraceptive, go for it. I don't care. I do care when you start killing babies. This is a problem for me.
But what about in rape and incest situations?
Okay, so so here's the question.
It's different, yes.
I mean, this is a long conversation, and I'm enjoying it actually, which is why I'm allowing you to stay.
I knew he was enjoying the conversation with her because he's taking it extremely light on her.
The question of rape and incest, first of all, important to note, rape and incest are not only a vast minority of abortion cases, they're an extraordinarily low percentage of abortion cases. So if we can first stipulate that all the other abortions are bad, then we can talk about that other one. Can we do that? Are all the other abortions bad, or are those ones okay? And you're just using this as an excuse to make the other ones okay.
They're all okay.
Ah, good. Someone who's honest. So, who's the honest fellow? Who's? Okay, yay, honest people. Good. I like the honesty. Okay, so all abortions are okay. So, a sign that I can't read because it has lots of words on it. Okay, so I have one question for you and one question only on abortion. Does the vagina, the vaginal canal, magically confer personhood? Answer, does the vagina magically confer personhood? Yeah, raised hands are okay. You, sir.
No, the first breath does.
The first breath confers personhood. Okay, so if the baby is in the womb and is exactly the same size and has not yet breathed, and you take a knife and you stab the baby in the head, a fully formed 9-month-old baby, it is not a human. The only thing that makes it a human is when it takes a breath. It has to independently breathe.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to stick to it, yeah, because I'm also pro-capital punishment and pro-selective suicide. So I'm going to stick with it.
Selective suicide? Yeah, I assume you mean elective suicide.
I mean elective suicide.
Elective suicide. Okay.
Yes, I'm not going to make someone commit suicide.
Okay, that's good, because that wouldn't be suicide, that'd be homicide. By the way, I'm for capital punishment too, because people who kill people should be killed, but babies who have not killed people should not. And this is my basic position on abortion. So let me just, but I'll get your answer because you're the one who asked the question. Are you willing to stipulate?
I don't know about that. If people who kill people should be killed, at least not right away, because a lot of times these systems don't get it right. Sometimes, like the person that's locked up for a thing, sometimes it's not the person who committed the crime, and then there's people setting people up for the crime, and there's so much other stuff that goes along with it. Then by the time they find out that the person they locked up and killed for that particular murder was innocent, they're already dead. That helps nothing. Now, is this high enough of a situation does this happen often enough for this to be a thing? Probably not, but it still happens.
So let me just, but I'll get your answer because you're the one who asked the question. Are you willing to stipulate that all the other abortions are bad, just rape and incest bother you?
I mean, no, I believe a woman should have the right to move
Got
on.
it. So it's an excuse, right? So it's an excuse so that we can say that, so that we can take the marginal case and then say that the marginal case applies to all cases. Okay, that's again faulty thinking. But if you want me to answer specifically on rape and incest, here is my basic answer. Rapists should be castrated or killed. You shouldn't kill babies.
I agree. Rapists should be castrated. Cut the goddamn balls off or their titties off if it's a woman who's raping somebody else, man.
On rape and incest, here is my basic answer. Rapists should be castrated or killed. You shouldn't kill babies. End of story.
But are they ever castrated and killed? Most rapists don't even get convicted.
I agree, and that's usually the left side of the aisle because the left side wants to let them out after 5 years in prison. I want them castrated or killed. I'm telling you what my belief is. My belief is not public policy at the moment. But I think, would you agree with me on that one? Can we at least get a little agreement to finish this particular parlay? Okay, should rapists be castrated or killed?
Well, yes.
Okay, good, yeah, okay, we agree.
I knew he really enjoyed talking to her, man. I knew he did. He makes a whole lot of good points. And I know I probably said some things that might even piss people off because apparently me reacting to Ben Shapiro without saying anything, I could just play his videos and not say a thing, and a bunch of people would start leaving the channel. I don't get that. I honestly don't get that. I don't particularly care for the guy because I don't. Some of the things that I've heard him say are very, very harsh towards some people who are trying to be heard. But the more I listen to him, I hear some good points. Maybe one day I might listen to him and hear the same thing you hear. The people who are 1,000% for him. But one thing we are not going to do is if you're 1,000% for anybody, then you're biased. I'm just going to say that. You're completely 1,000% biased if you're for somebody that much without being in disagreement of them. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to give him a fair shot. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving him a fair shot. Some people think of it as me giving him a platform. I'm not, because I don't have a platform to really give him. He's already at 4 million subscribers. He's doing pretty damn well without me. I'm trying to understand not only him but his the things that he's speaking against, and the things that he's speaking against. I'm actually learning on those things like transgenderism, abortions, and all these things. I'm learning a lot from his back and forth with people, and most of his back and forths are with people who feel opposite of him, and he continues to kick their ass in conversation and debate. So I'm learning a lot. So please don't be quick to judge. My understanding today might not be my understanding tomorrow. but my understanding today definitely is not my understanding from yesterday. So I am growing, and hopefully you are too. Just don't be so quick to make a judgment, because right now I look at his face and I'm like, I will bully the hell out you, and I don't like how harsh you're being to people and blah, 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 blah. But then when I listen to him and he says something that makes perfect sense, I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I should listen to this guy again, because the more I'm listening to him, I'm like, okay, I got you. I'm understanding. I might not agree with everything you say, but I'm understanding a lot more of what you say. So, but y'all let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments below. If you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and hopefully inside the Patreon as well. If you haven't seen my other reactions to Ben Shapiro, please go check them out. That's pretty much all I have. Love y'all.